Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Isani Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Belize. Good morning, Isani.
Good morning, April. Happy 15th.
Happy 15th. Happy
Mid-June already.
Is it Juneteenth? Yes. Happy 15th.
We celebrate Juneteenth? I don't know.
No, but thank you all so much for joining us. It is already the middle of June.
Yes, and tell you what, it's already summer vacation.
It is.
For many high schoolers, those who graduated from sixth form or are attending any tertiary level institution.
Yep.
And some of the private schools, right?
How do you prepare for summer? You
I
as a
don't
parent,
prepare.
because you have your kids at home,
so
right?
Here's the thing, right? So today is the first day of summer for both of my kids,
Woo.
right? My daughter goes to work this morning, so she doesn't.
What?
Yeah,
so she's
yeah.
she's
She
already
doesn't
big
get
kid.
that luxury of
yeah.
relaxing at home. She starts working this morning. My son, who's a ball of energy,
Yes, he is.
we have to find a million things for him to do this summer, including swimming, summer school.
That's a you job. You have to make sure that there is something for him to do.
Yes, but you know,
Indeed.
as kids, so I'll just throw this in, right? As kids, I used to look forward to summer because that was my time to connect with my siblings and my cousins, right? We used to travel and do other things.
Yeah.
That was well before all of this technology took over, right?
Ay, ay, ay.
So we used to catch the Z-Line bus and go down south and climb mango tree and all of these wonderful things.
experiences.
No,
yeah.
kids need activities, right?
They
so you have to put them in a summer school, you have to get them jobs, you have to put them
In a
do
different
that keeps them
programs,
engaged.
indeed.
Yes,
So I'm sure that there are many things. I know that we've been highlighting some of these summer programs here on the morning show. So I'm sure that parents will find something for their kids to do.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we have a wonderful Monday morning show.
What is
to
our
gear
Monday
up.
morning looking like?
All right, so if you come with me over on this screen here, we are going to be kicking things off this morning in our first conversation. It's all about business of governance, and that's with the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They're going to be outlining their national agenda. So if you have any questions, if you want to be a member of the BCC Roadshow, so if you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about starting a small business, you want to stay keen on this conversation because you're going to be telling you where they're going to be in the country for the next 6 months. Isani, what do we have for our 5 things?
All right, thanks, April.
Yeah.
So guys, we have 5 amazing short conversations for you this morning, beginning with the 80th birthday of Lord Michael Ashcroft. That was celebrated here in Belize City on Friday, right? So that's the first one. Secondly, unfortunately, there was an incident in downtown Belize City over the weekend on Saturday morning. Kiefer McKenzie was shot and killed on Albert Street. We'll have this conversation. And then, of course, on Saturday night, all eyes were glued to our TV sets. We were all watching Game 5 of the Knicks San Antonio Spurs NBA Finals. And of course, this is the conversation I'm also looking forward to. All right, and we continue our discussion about what's taking place within the government as it relates to the contracts that were awarded to the sister of Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira, and the whole idea of the smart stream and how those payments were being processed. And last but certainly not least, as you guys are aware, we had to reschedule the annual Summer Fest simply because of inclement weather last week. So we have postponed until the 26th of June will also be having that conversation a little later on in our discussion this morning. April, take it away.
All right, of course, we are going to start things off with the celebration of Lord Michael Ashcroft's 80th birthday celebration. So it was all pomp and circumstance on Friday night, I believe, Isani was. And, you know, for those of you that saw a beautiful firework display happening in Belize City on Friday night, it was technically because we were celebrating the Lord Michael Ashcroft's birthday. I only see it on TV, but it was a beautiful scene nonetheless. But I know, Isani, you were there for all the sights and sounds.
So, I think the 80th celebration of Lord Michael Ashcroft's birthday is one for the books, right?
Yeah.
So many of us who were invited to this celebration were treated to a number of things that you would say some we're familiar with, others fairly new to us here at home.
But
Go
I
ahead.
have to say, Sani, that we will be running it for our audience this morning, just so that they get a sneak peek of what it was like. So let's see what that clip is like right now. That is Star Wars.
All right, so
Not the Star Wars theme.
first things
Isani.
first, though. First things first, right? This is the first drone show
It's beautiful.
that has been, you know, kicked off, so to speak, here in Belize, right? And just a little bit of some background for those who would have been wondering how this was pulled off, right? So, as many as 1,080 drones were brought into the country, right?
Wow.
On an import
look at that
permit.
there.
Yeah, on an import permit that would allow the operators to be able to fly these miniature devices and make all of these shapes and patterns that we saw light up the night sky on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? So what you're seeing here is just how they were able to assemble them. This is by the Lord Rayburn's promenade,
Yeah.
right? So they had to line them all off. And the beauty of this is all of these drones are synchronized.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm
So
pretty
that-
sure it takes a lot of skills to ensure that it looks the way it looks on.
Yeah, it has to be pre-programmed
Pre-programmed,
into
yeah.
a computer, and you know, the whole alignment of them in the sky and everything. But so this was the spectacle of the night, other than the actual fireworks, right?
Right.
I'll get to the fireworks shortly. But if you look at what's on display here, so all of Lord Ashcroft's businesses
And contributions.
and his contributions
Yeah.
to Belize's development were highlighted in this drone show, right? And I say it's a spectacle because a lot of people who looked up,
Yeah, you wouldn't have not.
right?
You wouldn't understand what was going on unless you really
And how
knew.
you would
Yeah.
have understood what was taking place and how this was being done, right?
Yeah.
So I was privy to it, obviously because we work
Work
here
here.
and we're providing coverage for it. So I was privy to how this thing was being put together, right? And I've never experienced something like this before firsthand. I mean, we watch TV and stuff, and China is huge on drone shows, right?
Yeah.
So I've
But
only
to see
seen
it here at
yeah,
home.
to see it here is
Yeah.
something for the books, right?
Did you ever ask him what he thought about it? So and my first question would have been like, how do you feel when seeing your all of your contributions being displayed via drone in the night sky, but people like putting your face also on in the night sky like that? He remember like that. Does that look like me? Is that me? It probably was one for the books for his 80th birthday. For
All right, so then we move to the fireworks, and then we'll get to the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
So we've also seen fireworks shows across Belize, right?
So pretty.
And when you think about the September celebrations, we also think about fireworks. You think about Christmas and New Year's, and some private events, you see fireworks.
Yeah.
But at this particular scale,
It was
yeah,
really,
that was
really
also
pretty.
something to behold.
So I saw a lot of people posting surprise fireworks on social media, right? Because again, unless you knew what was going on,
Yeah.
you had no idea why these fireworks were happening.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it was a couple of my friends and their kid's birthday. And so they were like, look, surprise fireworks for my baby's birthday, because nobody really understood what was happening. But it was I'm pretty sure it was a lovely surprise for the Belizean citizens, especially
Yes.
in Belize City.
And I think the event itself was a gathering of the who's who, right?
Yes.
When you look at people in business, you look at people in politics, you look at people in various forms of public life,
Yeah.
this event brought everybody together. And so while it was a private event, it celebrates the life of someone who has given to Belize, right? And before we go to a clip from Lord Michael Ashcroft, I just wanted to kind of go back a bit to a story that we ran on Friday evening.
Yes.
Right? With the young lady Rachel Sedasi. So just to kind of tie into what I'm saying here about his altruism
And his
and his
contributions.
philanthropic work,
Yeah.
right? So the young lady was working at the Belize Bank many years ago, 18 or so years ago, and she came by his number and decided, what do I have to lose perhaps other than my job calling this man, right?
Right.
Dial the numbers and ring him and pitch this idea that I want to go to school, I want to further my education, right? And so she took that leap of faith. She was able to explain to him what her professional desires were in terms of being able to qualify herself in a certain area and then make something of herself, right?
Yeah.
So this man takes this money out of his pocket, not through any of his other organizations or his charitable trust or whatever, decides to pay for her. He put her in scholarship then, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And Rachel has been able to complete her studies, come back, start her own business. And the one condition, a little caveat, right, was that she was supposed to take her newfound knowledge and her position now and be able to help others. And so she was able to fulfill those conditions, those
Yeah.
qualifiers, so to speak. And 18 years later, she had written to try to say thanks and everything, but never know if we get in touch with the man, right? So we were able to make that happen for her on Friday.
At his birthday?
Before.
Oh,
Before.
'cause
This was
that
a
was like
feature
a really
story, no.
coming home moment.
Yeah, this was a feature that we ran in the news earlier that day, right?
Yeah.
But I say all of that to say this, right? So while we're talking about this particular event and what it means to those of us who are in one way or another employed by Lord Ashcroft, I think Belizeans have either to a certain extent misunderstood who this individual is, what he stands for and what he has done for our country, because a lot of times some of these criticisms are seen primarily through a political lens, right?
Of course.
So you have the red who have something to say, the
Yeah,
blue who have something to say, right? But at the end of the day, both the red and the blue are at this thing on Friday, right? Because you can't ignore or discount what the man has done, not only in politics, but in business and development in this country.
Yeah, I think what I particularly kind of appreciate about not just Lord Michael Ashcroft, but from other private business, I want to say entrepreneurs that made Belize their home, or made Belize something to, I think, endorse. And I say that, I want to use that word very loosely, because in Belize, we tend to look at the government to solve all of the problems,
Yeah.
right? When in other parts of the world, people that build the private sector really do large contributions to boost the economy of a country. And so in Belize, we don't have a large private sector to do so. We have people like Lord Michael Ashcroft. We have perhaps maybe Bowen and Bowen and other enterprises that have tried their best to uplift the private sector in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form, and provide scholarships, sponsorships, and all these other ways to lift the citizens of a nation. And so because we're so small, and because people like Lord Michael Ashcroft are kind of in our reach, right? We kind of talk about them just the way we talk about our politicians. We tend to miss the mark in terms of the contributions that they've made to the economy itself, right? So I wasn't at the
I'd
party.
go beyond economy and simply say to the development of the
development
country.
of the
Yeah.
nation, right? But 88, 80,
Yeah.
80.
So here's the funny
You
thing.
don't look 80. I
The
have
man
to
as
give
well
you
as
props.
DJT. DJT also celebrated his 80th over the weekend as Donald John Trump, right? Right? But let's go to this clip from Lord Ashcroft from the podium on Friday.
And then about 25 years ago, when I was in Miami, I thought it'd be nice to come down to Belize. And I rang up and I said, "Is Barry Bowen there?" And this girl said immediately, who's calling? And I said, "Oh, just tell him it's a voice from the past, Michael Ashcroft from school." And she said, "Michael, I never ever thought I would hear your voice again." And at that point, your life flashes in front of you. Who is this girl? And it turned out she was a lady called Mags Jones. And within a couple of hours, she was round at the Radisson with a whole lot of black and white photographs of me as a kid. And it was that, I think, that just sort of bonded me immediately. And that I knew that from that point, that Belize would always feature extremely strongly in my life from that point. I found being in Belize is being at home. I come down every month. I hope it continues. I'm making a lot more friends, and I'm enjoying it.
And that I landed up in the middle of the press conference here is that I was coming by on a boat, and I saw Jeremy Spooner standing there, and I called out to him, and he suddenly said, "If you come ashore, there's free beer." Well, that was enough for anybody, wasn't it? And then I found, of course, that it was the middle of a conference on the decriminalization of marijuana, so I have nothing to do with the subject at all. Belize has everything going for it.
There is a strong and positive future in Belize. And if by my participation as an international businessman, it can encourage others to look at and invest and develop with Belize, then I'd be very pleased indeed.
And at my age of 74, I want the next few years of my life to contribute as much as I can to the nation of Belize.
I know that set. I think you know that set as well.
A little too well?
A little too well. But, you know, once again, happy birthday to the Lord Michael Ashcroft. 88th birthday. And, I mean, like I said, I feel like there's a lot more that I think we can see
Okay.
from him.
So before we segue to a little bit more somber news,
Yes.
or maybe, you know what? Make we go to
Go to the somber.
No. Make we go to a little brighter news, right?
Brighter?
But we'll use this as a segue, right? So I'm not so much of a numbers man, right?
Did you can buy Bolito?
Look, I buy 1080 as jackpot. I buy 80 as single number. I buy 53 as single number, and I buy 1973 as jackpot, as 6633 play, out of nowhere. But I'm saying 53 primarily because it's been 53 years since the New York Knicks won an NBA championship, right? So
That's a good segue.
yeah, but I'm not alone in this. So I think a lot of people went on the 53 yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But Saturday night, man, on the edge of my seat, right? And this is the thing, right? For major sporting events and stuff, I usually surround myself with a group of people in our place, right? So I did a tavern, I did somewhere where
Everybody is watching the sport.
But this series, I've sort of been enclosed with only a few select friends, right?
Is it because
we have
those
this
few
location
select
to
friends
ourselves.
like Knicks and everybody else in the Belize that was Spurs?
No. The few select friends are a mixed bag, right?
Okay.
But the fact that it was only a few of us together in a place that we had to ourselves,
Yeah.
we laser focused on the game, right? And the bet was up front that we would have given up game 5 to take it back home in New York for game 6 where they'll have all of this celebration and everything, right? And I kept saying, and this is what my mom and my granny used to tell me, right? Why wait for something to be done tomorrow when it can be done today? Especially when you're up against a formidable opponent like the San Antonio Spurs, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm saying this because, as I mentioned previously, ideally, I'm not a fan of either of the two teams, but if I'm left with an option at the very end, I went with the Knicks, right?
Okay.
So, there was this energy that, and if you could feel that energy here in Belize, I could only imagine the good
in New
folks
York?
over in New York.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All of my people from Belize that are living in New York were absolutely in like the biggest celebration mode ever. All of our people in diaspora that was supporting the Knicks and so forth. I know in Belize I've seen more people being Spurs fans. Basketball is not really like my thing. Do I know the sport? Yes. Do I watch the sport? Yes. But if I were to say I was like ride or die for a particular team this time around, no, I'm very, very happy for the Knicks since it's their first time since 1953 that they
So I
won a
put it
championship.
this way then, right? For the Belizean context and perhaps a little bit of history for you, right? So if we're arguing that the largest Belizean diaspora is in New York, automatically you'd understand why the Knicks have a sentimental part in all of this for them. It's the same way while we have a part of our diaspora, I'd argue perhaps the second largest, is in Chicago, or maybe LA, depends on how you look at it, right? It's the same sentimental value that the Chicago Cubs have for us here in Belize. So when you look at it that way there, you can understand,
it makes
right?
sense, it makes sense. No, it makes sense,
But, 94 to 90,
that was, I could see people being on their edge of their seat for that. That was a bit nerve-wracking.
I talk about numbers, right? And the fact that, as I said, I'm not a numbers guy. But the thing slipped me, right? Because Patrick Ewing, who has been a lifelong Knickerbocker, was there, and he had 33, right? So again, when we look upon the late 80s, early 90s, you know, mid-90s, you'd say, Patrick Ewing was a force to be reckoned with in basketball, right? For the Knicks. So he was there, and he said, if the Knicks win the series and if they close out tonight, I'll cry. That time they tell right there, but I never got with the 33, I got with the 53 instead.
Look, I feel like the only, that one game where the Spurs won, you know, was because the Knicks were distracted by, you know, the possibility of the city being locked down by this one person coming to watch the game. Everybody was like in a disarray, and that kind of like mess up their, you know, their game plan. And so they come back afterwards and won it in full force. I am very, very happy for that. I love it when you have historical moments, particularly in sports, because this one is going to be one for the books to remember.
Yes. You have to look for value in everything.
Yeah.
You have to look for positivity in everything. So while there's been a 53-year shutout until Saturday night, you're looking at the fact that there's a father and a son, right?
That's what
you have
everybody's
Derek
looking at.
Bronson, you have Jalen Bronson. Derek is on the coaching side. Jalen is the guard who made it all happen. Well, he has a supporting cast, obviously, but I'm talking about the father and son here. And so the birthday followed the day after, yesterday, right? And then 1 week later will be Father's Day, right? So what better Father's Day gift, you know, a son could give to a father than bringing home the NBA championship for 2026.
This year has been the year for sports, though, in
We
terms
still
of
look
like
at the area with that
historical
because we have World
World
Cup, right?
Cup. But I'm talking about like NFL, NBA championships, like people. This has been the
Yeah.
year for people that have made historical moments in wins.
It's
So,
shaping up to be a banner year for sports, right? At
World
home and
Cup is-
abroad.
At home and abroad,
At
indeed.
home and abroad.
So I'm also looking at the World Cup. That's the buzz at my house.
So
anyway.
we'll use that now to segue to the somber part of it, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
So Saturday morning, you know, the city was abuzz with rumors. Well, it was rumored in the beginning, and then afterwards the videos came out and we found out what took place. So Kiefer Mackenzie was executed on Albert Street
Yeah.
on Saturday morning. Why this is important? For several reasons that I could readily point to. One, Albert Street on Saturday morning is a
Buzzing.
pretty busy
Yeah.
place, right? Second, only to Michael Finnegan morning past Saturday, right? Michael Finnegan market
Market.
past Saturday morning,
Yeah.
right? Albert Street is alive. And so the brazenness of someone or perhaps a group of individuals who decided to attack this young man while he was parked in front of Atlantic Bank on Albert Street, it took some balls to put it
Yes.
that way. You have to be very, very, you know, reckless and carefree to pull that off. But that's one thing. The brazenness of it is one thing. The other thing too, though, is that for many who knew Kiefer Mackenzie, we all know him to be the son of George Junibal's Mackenzie, right? If you're familiar with and I hate to use this description, but it is what it is. If you're familiar with the gang landscape in Belize City, his father was a preeminent figure, a
Right.
prominent figure in the gang underworld, going back to the 90s, right? And so it's tragic when you see a situation where the father, many years ago, was executed in the Majestic Alley area, which was his stomping grounds, right? Then you saw another son getting killed at another event at the IT vet.
Yes.
And for Kiefer, as far as I personally can remember, he was brought on this very same, well, not this particular set, but he was brought to Open Your Eyes several years ago by my personal friend, William Dawson, as
Yes.
part of the leadership intervention unit, and trying to work with this young man to be able to change course and set a positive example for other people around him in his family and so on, right? So this was through basketball. So we've been talking about the NBA earlier, now we'll talk about, you know, his participation in LIU and the William Dawson basketball tournament subsequent to William's unfortunate passing, right? So this young man, a lot was put into him in terms of trying to help him
Be
and
better.
right?
Yeah.
So when this happened, my good friend Dougie Hyde, who is also a part of the whole program working with these at-risk youths, I could understand how he takes it personally.
Of course.
Because like I said, there's been this investment in these young men to try to change the way how things work out for them, as one, being at risk, and two, not necessarily being able to see that light at the end of the road because you're in a vicious cycle,
Yeah.
the cycle of violence and what have you, right? So when something like this happens, it's unfortunate. But this happened on Saturday morning. By Saturday night, there was another murder, right?
Yeah.
And I know that the police department will call a press brief sometime during the course of today to address both of the issues. And I'm not saying that they're related. I don't know what the circumstances are, but I wouldn't be surprised that perhaps it was a retaliatory strike. These things happen in Belize, right? And, you know, we're talking about the winding down of the LIU and some of the programs that the LIU oversaw and what have you. But then you're also forced to look at the real life consequences of, you know, not providing or creating opportunities for young men in this particular case
Yeah.
who are legitimately at risk of either falling into the vicious cycle of gangs or joblessness.
Yeah.
Because when you're unemployable in that sense, you get desperate. And then it kind of pushes you in a direction to want to commit crime to be able to either feed yourself or your family or whatever you
Well,
have going on in your
We
life.
don't know the motive yet behind Kiefer's untimely passing, but it's one of those moments, Isani, where we're seeing more and more of this sort of violence take place, one in broad daylight with multiple witnesses, with people that are seeing it happen. I saw the video circulating
Yeah.
before we were able to even get a handle on it and get a story on it. You know, videos were already circulating on social media, and it's just one of those moments where I'm saying, what is it that we need to do to apply pressure to ensure that this doesn't continue to happen? This is what, the second or third murder within weeks that we're seeing happen in broad daylight in front of people. So how is it that we are making sure that we're putting down the hammer on something like this? I don't know. We're going to hear what the police has to say about it. I don't know if they've already figured out a motive. They're definitely investigating this. I don't want to talk about the shutting down of the LIU. I have a lot of feelings about it, so I don't want to go into that, because we don't have the time for it this morning. But I do have to say that for certain programs like that, it allows opportunities for people like Kiefer. I believe he was doing community outreach under the LIU, right?
There's also, I think the last time I went to the immigration department, I was pleasantly surprised that he was one of the young men at the immigration office who was able to assist me.
Yeah, and
Right?
that's what the programs like that are supposed to do, right? Help people to find other means, like you
Yeah.
said, for employment. And so we are going to be keeping tabs on this story. We are going to hear more from the press conference this morning from the police department. But for now, we're gonna have to table that topic.
All right, so we've been following this issue since last week, and it has to do with the contract that was awarded to
Yes.
Jenny Mira and some of the developments that are coming out of this whole issue, right? Now, on Friday, both major news outlets were able to share stories of this whole contract and how the payment system works. And everything. And the demand by the Public Service Union for information, and this is coming through the Freedom of Information request. It's a FOIA request being made by the PSU for all relevant information that has to do with this payment.
Yes.
These payments, these questionable payments. I say questionable because there's a particular system, a particular way in which you're supposed to access payments through government's Smart Stream platform, right? And I'll use myself as an example here, right? I've done contracting on behalf of the government of Belize in my other life, right? Where once there's a substantial payment above a certain threshold, in this case above $10,000. Whenever I say it's sign, but if you want to get the money faster, just split it in a two or whatever, right? There's a system in place that ensures that there's proper oversight. But when you have a scenario where, you know, we find a workaround and instead of submit invoice for $30,000, which has to then go through that system, that process in full, somebody say just give $10,000 contract or you know, $6,000.
Several people to approve something before the finance department says, I'm issuing out payment to so and so. So this is going to have to take some deeper investigation, Isani. We'll have to see how far this
here's
goes.
my thing, man, right? This government, in my opinion, personally and professionally, not really care about satisfy FOIA requests, man. They really don't. So it's almost as if though this piece of law, the Freedom of Information Act, exists for people to be able to request certain information from these ministries, from these public officers and so on, to be able to inform themselves of certain things that are happening that they want full disclosure. That's
Right.
basically
That's
the point
the
of it.
point of it.
It's the reason why
It exists.
Jerry Enriquez filed a FOIA request
Indeed.
for certain things that have to do with elections and boundaries and redistricting.
Redistricting,
It's the same
yes.
process, right?
Yes.
The media has accessed the FOIA for several other purposes, and in many instances we're stonewalled, we're redirected, we're misdirected, and in some cases they didn't even
I
respond.
think they just wait for it to left the noise and then they forget about it, right?
Right, so the PSU has launched a FOIA request
Yes.
demanding information regarding these contracts and the payments and what have you. We'll see how far they get with that, because like I said, we in the media, we don't try that. Other people in private life have also tried that and they really gone nowhere.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up our 5 things discussion this morning. Thank you to our viewers that were engaging with us in the comment section. Good morning to all of you. And thank you so much for watching. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's all about the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry as they outline its national agenda.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad in the month of June. Visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Charbroil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Celebrate with us at Pelican Beach Resort's Paranda Friday event, held at the end of every month from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Immerse yourself in the rich Garifuna culture with vibrant, soulful rhythms and live entertainment by our very own talented local artists. This June 19th, we present to you our all-white Paranda Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The legendary Martinez brothers reunite on stage after a long time in years, bringing their unmatched talent and energy to an unforgettable night of Paranda music. Reserve a cocktail table for 4 and automatically enter our raffle for a night stay for 2 at our Dangrigo property. Each cocktail table comes with a free rum flight to kick off the evening in style. Special Belizean offer, discounted room rates at $150 Belize per night for 2 guests. Dress in your finest, all white, and be part of a magical evening filled with rhythm, culture, and celebration. Reserve your table today. Limited spots available. A night of music, culture, and community you won't want to miss.
And welcome back. Our next conversation, or should I say our first conversation this morning, is with the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry as they put forward their national agenda. Joining us in studio this morning is Chief Executive Officer Kim Aikman. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And along with her is the Vice President of Commerce, Jody Williams. Good morning. And of course, we have with us Rayan Rosado. He's the policy analyst over at the Chamber.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Everyone. Let's begin by talking about this national agenda, what it aims to achieve, and of course, all the buy-in from stakeholders of the commerce.
Yes.
Of the chamber,
yes, the chamber. So let me start by saying that as you all know, the chamber is the largest private sector organization, and we are the oldest. We celebrated 104 years old in April, the end of April. We have our AGM then. And we poll our members at that AGM to ask them what matters to you. What is it that would make your life easier, that makes business sustainable, and by effect, it will make Belize a better place. And we took the recommendations that they gave and we formed our governance agenda, or good governance agenda. And that is why we came about with this this document. As you would know also, and I know in there, and I'm probably delving down into things, but things like campaign financing, taxation, those things have been recurrent since we've started doing this in 2011. And it's just been recurrent. These are concerns to members. So we decided to focus in on it and make that our agenda, and that is what we're going to be working on throughout the next 5 years.
Speaking of campaign finance reform, I understand that the chamber had put together a draft, right, as to how this entire process can be dealt with by both of the major political parties. But it doesn't seem as if though it has picked up any traction from either the red or the blue in terms of being able to meaningfully start the process of campaign finance reform.
It's a very difficult piece of legislation, as you would imagine, especially given what our circumstances are now. So the change is difficult for people. When we did the draft, we had a business mixer with our members to ask them, is this something you want us to do? And we got an overwhelming mandate to do it. It is also in the medium-term development strategy of the government of Belize. And so we thought that we would be able to work together to bring this piece of legislation to fruition. We're still working on it.
I really want to kind of get in a little bit into the nitty-gritty. I know you say you don't want to go too much into the details, but the ways that the private sector contribute to the overall GDP of Belize, can we talk about numbers and percentages? Because I would imagine that this national agenda would then impact their ways and the ways that they can contribute to Belize's economy in a positive manner. Can we get some numbers?
Yes, good morning. Definitely, to echo what our CEO said, at this time, the private sector represents 87% of GDP, which is around 4.4 billion, and also employs 90% of workforce in Belize as well.
Right.
So the private sector, we need to stay abreast of, these issues happening around us. But the main objective of, these outlines that we are working on is definitely to strengthen institutions.
Right.
Because ultimately, stronger institutions means better opportunities, more jobs, and also more business. And, businesses could also flourish as well. And, campaign finance is just one part. There's also accountability, transparency, strengthening these institutions. We are getting more into AI as well. How much of the infrastructure can we make into, using technology, doing things online to make it faster.
Here's an observation from my end, right? So while the chamber has been leading the private sector in terms of trying its best to keep the government accountable, if there is a lack of political will, if whoever's administration is the party in power chooses not to abide by or even consider the recommendations of the chamber, then it's almost as if though you're fighting an uphill battle. I say that because very recently, the chamber wrote 2 letters to the Prime Minister regarding this whole fuel issue and perhaps how the government would be more amenable to, make food packets need lighter when it comes to the pump. And the Prime Minister completely threw cold water on it and even went as far as calling it embarrassing. But it's not to say that thought or consideration didn't go into putting those letters and the proposals to the Prime Minister to address an issue that affects all of us. But the manner in which it was dealt with or in which it was met is almost as if though he treated it as a non-starter. That's the reason I'm saying it's almost as if though you guys are fighting an uphill battle.
It's not almost as though. We are fighting an uphill battle. And it's unfortunate that that was the response, because we are not adversaries. We are in the business of nation building with the government, with the private sector. And I think too, though, that our membership, our general public, we need to be able to hold our leaders more accountable. A lot of what is done because we are so complacent as a people. And I think that, we should hold our leaders more accountable.
I think that when it comes to the way that the private sector allows the development and the economy to flourish in Belize, we were having this conversation this morning. I don't think we truly give the private sector its credit. Whenever something goes wrong, we look to the government for solutions, or whenever there are no jobs, you look to the government for solutions. But you just said it yourself that the private sector employs what, 90%, and so you want to make sure that your business industries are being dealt with in a positive way. I want to get into some of the details of the good governance national agenda, because I think things like taxation, we're very much an importing country. So what are some of the outlines that you have for taxation? And then I'll kind of go into some of the other details. Can we get some?
Yeah, so when it comes to at least taxation, this agenda doesn't really delve into that part. The whole reason this is a good governance agenda in particular is because I don't know if you or the public remember, last year we had our business policy roadmap that laid out the 4 key pillars: labor, taxation, good governance was and energy is also a big part of it. So the idea is to split each major thematic area up and focus on each. Part of the issue is that each topic is so big. You know, this document alone has what, I think 20 or so subheadings of things, and I mean that's just surface level if you're really delving into things that can be done to improve our governance system. So at least on the taxation part, this doesn't really delve into it.
So if we're sticking to good governance,
only
for this part of the conversation, what does that mean from the Chamber's perspective? And what is the Chamber asking for of the government to be able to meet this good governance agenda?
I think the big thing, at least my view would be that the big issue is improving access to transparency, accountability, making sure that because we have laws on the books, technically speaking, we have a lot of laws on the books that address issues like corruption, right? The issue is that a lot of it is discretionary. So making sure that we don't have to ask for the law to be applied, or we have to wait for politicians to want to do things. We have proper systems in place, proper legislation in place, so that as a citizen at least, you have easier recourse than as it is now, where things are a bit opaque. And
so from what I'm understanding is that you're trying to put in a system where there is an act of transparency and accountability. So as soon as there are certain items in the book, we have access to it already. You don't have to ask for it. The updated finance budgets in certain ministries, you already have it. We don't have to ask for it. Is that what I'm gathering from this?
Yes. The oversight, the accountability, the transparency. For example, the national budget. We get access to it when it's read, basically. And so there is no, and the way that it's, I know Rian, he's a chief policy analyst, and as soon as it's read and it's made public, but it's in a PDF format, that like you really cannot do any kind of analysis and comparison. I mean, it's tedious. For years we have been asking, and you're right when you say it's an uphill battle, but you know, we cannot say, oh, it's an uphill battle and stop. We just have to keep at it. We've been asking to be included in the budget process before it is passed. Looking at trends, at what is happening, and it's just been, and it's successive governments, it's not one or the other.
But one would want to think that for a process as robust as putting together a national budget, an annual exercise, that stakeholder buy-in is most important, right?
Yeah, that's
so
what you would think.
You think that, okay, if agriculture is an industry that has so much, then you'd want to consult with the people in for find out what they think.
Yeah.
Business community, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Is it that the government hasn't even looked in the direction of the chamber in terms of, when I say government, either of the administrations, right? They haven't looked in the direction of the chamber in terms of saying, okay, let's bring you guys to the table and let's hear what you guys have to share in terms of meaningful input in the national budget.
That's correct.
Wow.
Definitely one of the
104 years and
Well, let me rephrase that, because
Okay.
there were times in the past, probably 10, 15 years ago, where there was an attempt made to bring us to the table. But it has eroded significantly, and now it's non-existent.
You wanted to state?
Sorry.
Yes. One of the pillars is definitely partnership and collaboration, because policies are made, but at the end of the day, we have persons who are the ones implementing it and living it every day, like us business leaders and persons in the private sector. A main objective definitely with this agenda and this document is that it's 100% objective. It looks at data. It's not tied to any partisan view. It's not red, blue, orange, greener. It's strictly, the main objective is looking at the quality of Belizean life and how could we improve the quality of Belizean life, looking at its institutions.
I'm very surprised that it hasn't reached the ears of the Senate, because you all have a business representative within the Senate,
the upper house,
right? And so one would like to believe that this conversation is at least taking place in one part of the government.
But I think it is. I think that at least the social partner senators have raised the issue time and time again about accountability, about the oversight bodies such as the Auditor General's Office and the Accountant General. So they have, started or not started. It's something that they have also been really pounding on throughout the years since we've had social partner senators.
So who is this national agenda for?
This is our guideline, and this is for public consumption, so that public needs to buy into their country as well, and hold people accountable and demand better service for people.
We have it available. It's online.
Yes.
Should be,
It should be online. Is it for the layman? Is it easily to read? Is it something that we can understand?
Is it digestible?
Is it digestible?
I would say compared to most documents that AIM does kind of thing, I think it's pretty digestible. The whole idea is that you should be able to read it in a pretty short amount of time and get an idea of what the proposal is. It's not going to go super in depth. Like, for example, if you want to learn more about our campaign finance draft bill, we have more online. We have the actual thing, more detailed presentations. But this should give you a good idea of what the headline of the bill is.
For something like campaign finance, for the citizens of Belize, how is this something that could affect us? Why is it that we should try to have a good transparency and accountability on campaign financing?
Well, campaign finance is one of those things I think is really easy to forget. That it usually, at least from my understanding, usually comes up during election cycles.
Yes.
That's when everyone cares about it. That's when we see things like people, getting kickbacks and the like. But it's something that plays a role even when there isn't an election. I think I remember I was reading a book from 1990, in the 90s, early 2000s, and I think it was either George Price or Saeed Musa, one of them, talking about the need for campaign finance reform. It's been an issue for so long. Decades. And campaign finance really is about making sure that we have an equal playing field at the end of the day. One of the harder things I think for smaller businesses, for example, is dealing with permits and trade licenses and those issues. Bigger businesses, for example, have more capital, they have more access. Smaller businesses
don't.
They don't, right?
Yeah.
So campaign finance, having a properly regulated system where you can be sure that at least for the most part things are equal.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So the lack of campaign finance reform has been something that has plagued us for decades. We just established that, right? But if you're in power, you don't care about that because you don't want to do anything that will jeopardize your ability to attract money when the campaign cycle comes around. If you're if you're in opposition, then it's easy for you to stand behind it and champion it. Then when you win, you realize, okay, I'll sit on my hand because this will adversely affect me if I want to win another term in office.
Who is donating, and what our bill has put in place is, or the draft, is that you would put the money into a pool. You're not going to be giving red, blue, green, orange, whatever. It's in a pool. It's divided based on constituency size. And so the public, the people living in the constituencies should be able to benefit more from it.
Which would also level the playing field for independent candidates, for third-party candidates who don't have that financial wherewithal.
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
Yes, and I know Belize has been wary with certain problems. There's a lot of problems, not to get into it, but our members looked at campaign finance as a specific target, something that we want to work on. Tackle that first, get it in line, and then go on to the next. And our members see that a very important part was campaign financing, and definitely level the playing field, get into that pool of funds, and at the same time giving other and independent parties, like Sani said, that chance to get into government and see new things,
But I think people don't really understand why this is such an important, apart from the transparency and the accountability, in larger nations, when we see campaign financing not being regulated, these bigger industries or these bigger businesses really and truly have the power to control policy. And I don't know if that's a part of the agenda, but when we're looking, we look at the United States and we wonder why gun laws are not regulated. Who is the biggest funder of the campaigns in the United States? The NRA. And so you really have to think about how, at a smaller scale here in Belize, why something like this is important in terms of who is actually funneling money and who's contributing to which campaign and who gets the say in the policies, right?
But at least you know then that it's the NRA that's putting the money in. So there is, so you know. And that's what we're not trying to stop anybody from financing. It's just the transparency.
You just want to know who.
So a couple of things if we're talking transparency then. So we need to, ideally we need to know who is contributing and how much, and the source of funds. Because you can't take dirty money
and
off of the street and wash it and make it clean because you stand behind a politician in a campaign. Right?
Exactly.
And that's the reason I'm saying that when you're in a position, it's very easy to say, but we need transparency and accountability and the whole idea of the good governance thing, right? Then when you get in there, it's a totally different scenario.
So you have to make sure that we regulate this so that none of them can change their minds on it, right?
That's the
Is
goal.
the idea.
That's the goal. That's living in,
And having a system in place.
Indeed.
Like once a system is there, 10 years down the road, 20 years, they'll use that same system. There's no change. Once it's
a
in
sustainable
law
system.
and a policy that works.
Yeah. So in terms of, like I said, the agenda itself is available online for public to see. Where can we find it?
Belize.org, www.belize.org, and we have a policy tracker. So our position papers, everything is on that policy tracker, and that's available to the public.
Also on the www.belize.org.
Yes, one of the tabs is a policy tracker.
Wonderful. Well, we'd like to thank you all so much for joining us this morning. And of course, we really encourage everyone to head on over to the Belize.org website to download the national agenda and to have a read and to see how these sort of policies and so forth impact your daily life. Thank you all so much.
I just wanted to say to, and if you have any comment on the policy, on the agenda, you can email us at bcci@belize.org.
Wonderful. All right, we take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be switching conversations to World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Belize Electricity Limited is pleased to announce the holding of its 2025 Annual General Meeting at the BEL Corporate Headquarters at 2.5 miles Philip Goulson Highway, Belize City, Belize, at 3:00 p.m. on Thursday, June 18, 2026. For registration purposes, shareholders are advised to bring along a valid identification such as a Social Security card. Shareholders who are unable to attend may choose, and we encourage you to exercise this right, to appoint your proxy, or you can simply appoint the company's executive chairman or the corporate secretary as your proxy to represent you at the AGM. Proxy forms can be submitted at the BEL corporate headquarters at 2.5 miles Philip Goulson Highway or via email at shares@bel.com.bz no later than 5:00 p.m. on June 16, 2026. For more information or assistance, contact BEL's Securities Officer at 501-227-0954, extension 1512.
Ever had your card declined? Now it doesn't have to be. Introducing partial authorization. If the card doesn't cover the full amount, it notifies you what's available. You can accept the partial payment and pay the missing balance with a credit card or cash. No decline. Get what you came for. Partial authorization now available. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Some hands do more than carry. They prepare, they fix, they comfort. They keep a home moving in ways few people notice. And even when the day is done, they are still thinking of home. For the months of May and June, we celebrate the hands that hold the home together, offering you 25% off on tiles, lights, fans, ACs, gardening supplies, and more, both in-store and online. Thank you, moms and dads, from Builders Hardware.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're switching gears into our second conversation, discussing World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And in this conversation, we'll be recognizing and preventing mistreatment in elders. So we have with us Executive Director at the National Council on Aging, Ishelle Pott. Good morning. And we have Program Officer over at the National Council of Aging, Doralyn Sabal. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you so much for joining us on this very important topic, which I don't think gets highlighted enough. And it's all about our loved elders, right? I think that a conversation like this is often very sensitive. People tend to shy away from even the idea of elder abuse. But over at the National Council of Aging, I'm sure that this conversation gets highlighted. And so how are you all campaigning and educating us on elder abuse?
So elder abuse is important to define it. So elder abuse is not just the mistreatment of an older person, it's also the failure to take action causing harm to the older person. So that's where we would encompass things like neglect and abandonment. So you can have an older person in your home, maybe you're not saying anything mean, you're not physically hurting the older person, but you're not providing for their needs, and that still constitutes a type of abuse for the older person. The council runs kind of a 2-year cycle of programming. So we have 1 year where we do a lot of public campaigns. Last year we were across the country with pop-ups, doing pop-ups on market days and in special really active days in communities, along with the Ministry of Human Development, Ministry of Health, HelpAge Belize, where we built awareness in communities about elder abuse. And then this year, we've kind of changed gears. We've done capacity building. We had a workshop with police officers last week, Wednesday, which was about bringing them up to speed on how to recognize signs of elder abuse, improve communications with older persons who are making reports about elder abuse, and also strengthening the referral pathways for when they find older persons in abusive situations. And a part of our campaign this year as well is we're doing our Know Your Rights bingo in residential facilities. So when we host community events, we'll see seniors come out who are members of senior clubs or church groups or other organizations that have seen the ads that we've put out and will send their older persons. But the older people who are in the residential facilities rarely have that opportunity to come out and socialize. So this year we are going into those facilities to meet, talk, play bingo with the seniors. The government signed on to the Inter-American Convention on Protecting the Human Rights of Older Persons in December of 2024. And so we are educating is one of the education outreaches for older persons on the rights.
What happens? I'm trying to think about how to formulate this question, because we don't have a large percentage of elders that make up our demographic, right? You were saying it's about 8.7% or so.
Yeah, a little bit over, yeah.
Where do we as the younger demographic stand when it comes to protecting our elder citizens? I know we don't have a lot of residential homes. I think a lot of people say, well, I'll take care of mommy or I'll take care of granny at home, but not necessarily have the tools to really do it. How are we able to assist?
So one of the things we do, education and awareness is one of the big things. Is also looking at how do we provide support for families who are caring for older persons, which is an ongoing dialogue. Last year, the Ministry of Human Development launched a very small pilot project of roving caregivers, where we now have in certain areas caregivers who go in and assist with older persons. Because you would note that one of the main causes of elder abuse is caregiver burnout, because the burden becomes very high and heavy. So it's really looking at how you network and connect people. The more older persons that are connected to organizations, the more support families have. So becoming a member of their local Help Age group or other local senior group. There's Hope in Toledo, Senior Steps in Belmopan. All these groups that provide sort of a buffer to help make life for the older person in the community easier, and also life for the family easier. But there's still a lot of work to be done when we look at how we actually build the capacity of families to care for their older persons, and also the reliefs or incentives that are there for families who are caring for older people. 61% of our seniors don't have pensions. So if you have an older person in your care, the chances are that you are shouldering that financial challenge as well. And then we know that our pension rates are low. The average pension from Social Security is like $525 billion a month. So I mean, if you have an older person who's diabetic, who is hypertensive, who needs medical care, who might be incontinent and need, bed shields, Pampers, that kind of thing, the finance is stretched really thin. So there's still a lot of work to be done on how to adequately support those families who are caring for older persons.
Let's get let's get Doralyn in on the conversation at this point. So as the program officer, what are your observations on a day-to-day in terms of dealing with older persons who are living with abuse?
So I would like to add that elder abuse is not only a social issue, it is also a human rights issue. And so, as Ms. Watt had mentioned, in 2024, Belize signed on to the Inter-American for Protecting the Human Rights of Older Persons. And so, with the activities that we do, educating older persons about what their rights are, it supports not only them but also their families. So last year we had our elder abuse awareness booths within the communities, and so that's one of the things that we talked about: human rights, what are the rights of older persons. And we had a lot of children coming in, and so we also explained to them, just like how children have their rights, older persons have their rights as well. And the bingo sessions that we will be taking within the residential facility is also helpful for them themselves, because they're not coming out as much. So we see that if we go in, they'd be able to say, you know what, these are some of the challenges that I am also facing. Maybe it's not within the facilities themselves, but maybe they feel like, you know what, my family may have abandoned me. And it's one of those challenges where the family dynamics are changing. As Ms. Watt had mentioned, you know, the pension rates are limited. If you are within a family where they call it the sandwich generation, you have the working class, and then they have children, and they're also taking care of maybe their parents or their grandparents. You know, the financial constraint, it's a bit heavy. So the challenges are all around. We have active seniors who like to volunteer and be a part of community activities, so they are not as much isolated. But the ones who are isolated, they are the ones who you have to look out for, the ones who you have to check in on, the one who you have to say, you know what, have you eaten today? What assistance do you need today? And sometimes it's not always abandonment, it could be neglect, and that is in a setting where I have somebody in my house, but they're not making sure I'm taking my medication on time, they're not making sure that I'm drinking water or eating on time. And so the challenges, they're great.
How, where is the National Council on perhaps pushing more policies for some of these spaces? Because I know we're talking about pension, but perhaps maybe full free health care for some of these citizens, you know?
Well, older persons do get some considerations under the NHI program, which did not exist before, which are great. We still don't have a geriatric doctor in the country within the public health system, so that's a big one that we're still advocating for. We're excited that this year the council is partnering with UNFPA to carry out a situation analysis of older persons, which will then drive further policy developments. One of the big things that we're looking forward to this year is the passing of the Families Bill. So for the first time, Belize is legislating protections for older persons. Chapter 4 of the Families Bill is the welfare and protection of older persons, and it speaks about elder abuse, criminalizing elder abuse. So before, an older person would only have to work with our domestic violence laws, which also requires that an older person go into a police station and say, somebody has been abusing me, and then go through the entire court process. And that's difficult for an older person who might have dementia or Alzheimer's, and you can see that there are signs of abuse, but that person is unable to advocate for themselves. So that's one of the big things that we're looking forward to with this law. What we do see a lot is cases of neglect. People will call us to say, you know, there's an older person in my family sometimes, on my street, in my neighborhood, nobody's coming, I am concerned. What happens when that call comes in, right? So the council itself is a policy advisor. We don't provide services. So what we do is it triggers a welfare check for that older person. And then the Ministry of Human Development will go in with their social workers, do the wellness check. And then the older person moves through whatever systems of services that they want to access.
I think you're talking about like the domestic and the physical abuse on certain persons, but we often find that they're also taken advantage of, right? Theft is also something that
I think we have an infographic that has the crime rates for 2022.
2018 to 2023.
2018 to
2023.
So like
gives us a 5-year span. But theft and burglary were high on that. I mean, one of the common ways that we are seeing theft is I can't use the ATM. So I
give someone the card.
I give somebody the card. I say,
draw away more than they ask for.
Go to the ATM and take out $50 to me, and the person go and take out $150, or keeps the card. You know, retains the card. And so within the new legislation, there's also ways for older persons to recover lost assets. It makes it a little easier for them to go through the systems. Of course, there are things you have to solve. How do we get them all the legal representation, putting all of those things together? But having the law itself is the first step. Also, the workshop with the police department, bringing them up to speed on what is in the new law, what is it talking about, how do we see it changing, and what does it mean for older persons. It was an important step.
Are you all collaborating with other NGOs and other social entities, perhaps with persons that have like Alzheimer's, not retirement homes, but I guess you would call them residential homes and so forth for some of these projects?
So we do work closely with the Belmopan Alzheimer's chapter. So they are a small group in Belmopan that have Alzheimer's awareness activities. Last month in May, we had the 5th annual seminar, and so in August it will be the run. So we work closely with them, and as Ms. Watt had mentioned, we will be doing the human rights, the Know Your Rights bingos with the residential facilities. We usually invite them out to our International Day of Older Persons activities, and then we partner with other groups like Life, Hope, HelpAge, Voice, and so we work very closely with those groups. And I just wanted to add, Ms. Watt had been highlighting our activity with the police officers. And as you touched on financial abuse, it's actually one of the things that they brought up too, that they've experienced within their lines of work.
Yeah.
And the data has been very alarming, honestly, when it comes to not only theft, but stuff like the citizens situation. The citizens analysis for last year, their security analysis showed that we had 4 persons who committed suicide who are over the age of 60 years. And so we do see that their mental health is also being challenged during these difficult times as well. And in the case of missing persons, because we do have older persons that goes missing, it's not always that they are being harmed, but the awareness needs to be there for Alzheimer's as well. The early signs that their cognitive is being declined. And we have those challenges where we're trying to provide that awareness. So for the police officers workshop was a great start for that, because even though we can't do everybody all at once, it was a great start because the officers were from across the country. So we tapped in a little bit here and there. We heard a bit about what some of their challenges are. We were able to connect them with human development so that they can make that referral in case of challenges. And so that was one of the best parts about that workshop. And while we're talking about the workshop, I would like for us to do the age simulation activity. So you guys can get a bit of understanding about the challenges that older persons go through.
So what do we have to do?
Well, we're going to put on the glove.
Okay.
You can use your dominant hand. You can use preferably just one hand, your dominant hand. We're going to tape your thumb and your index finger.
Okay. I'm already challenged.
So this simulation, so normally when we do the capacity building workshops, we do age simulations, and normal aging process, we all lose some of our senses. So by 40, everybody is looking to wear some kind of glasses. Men have a higher decrease in their ability to hear than women, so loud voices. But oftentimes we see that issues like arthritis, where an older person has received challenges with their hands, and often their dominant hands, restricts what they're able to do. So this one, the gloves restricts your senses. So like if you would be picking up your phone or trying to button something, everything becomes a little more slippery, a little more challenging, which older persons might face. And then the taping of the fingers is to simulate the loss of the mobility from the arthritis. So
the challenge is for us to cut the pens?
I would like for you to write your name.
Oh, right. Wow. All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Challenging indeed.
Yeah, so you don't have to do one part of it for me.
So, I want you to think about an older person who has to go into a bank, into an office, into a place where now I have to fill in a form where the font might be a bit smaller than I'm used to. And you give me a pen and tell me, write it on this line.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's just, can I cheat?
I mean,
I'm gonna do it like this. My full name, the pen don't even want to write. Say no.
There we go.
This is as close as I get.
There we
That's
go.
it?
All right, I could read it.
You still write good. It's not fair. So Isani will not have this issue. I'm already slower.
This is a simulation for a reason. The thing has it might be worse than this.
But it's already slower than what I'm used to. And then
you make it difficult for you.
No, I'm not writing it. You
put it on the table and write your name.
So like, I'm not gonna put it there, but like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Right, but
you made it more challenging.
But I made it more challenging for myself by not having like a flat surface. But even so, like taking off the pen cover and all of that, I find the fact that I couldn't feel my pen toe. I never liked that. I didn't like that I couldn't not touch my pen, and now I have to like See, let's see if I can turn on my phone.
So imagine the challenges that
Yeah.
older persons go through when they're in these offices, filling out these forms. Maybe they can't hear well, maybe they can't see well, and then the forms are already so tiny.
Yeah.
So your name is still bigger than what the forms would require.
That's true.
So it's even more difficult when they have to go within these spaces and be like, and I have nobody to help me.
I wonder, like, I don't think I could do my signature with this. Like my
The
day-to-day
actual- yeah.
signature. Yeah, I don't think I could do it with this challenge.
And it's a requirement.
We're supposed to be at a point now where your fingerprint's supposed to suffice, man.
Let's hope that that's where we go in
Retinal
life.
scan or something.
No, now I don't know when was the last time you went to the bank, but like now they ask you to do the fingerprint thing to like do your signature instead of the pen, and I already don't like that. So I could imagine
All the
somebody that has
changes.
Alzheimer's to do that, and stuff like not just the changes in a physical bank, but something as simple as like digital literacy, financial literacy, all of these changes that, you know, if you're not somebody that's tech savvy or literate, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are community programs. UB had a tea time and tech session that they were doing.
Okay.
Which was free digital literacy for seniors, which built on our digital literacy campaign last year that we were a part of with them. So it's really how do we get more support, more funding, more partnership. People always say, you know, old people, I tell people no money, they're not old people. When we talk about cancer awareness and certain things, you see everybody comes out in their t-shirts. It's not the same for aging for whatever reason. So, you know, one of the things we want to encourage your viewers is to think about their own aging process and how you would like to be treated as you become older, because that is the way we would all like to be treated.
I love that. That's a wonderful way to wrap up our session, our conversation, this morning. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming and having this discussion, this very much needed discussion with us. Today is the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Hug your granny this morning, please. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to switch gears into some more business conversations with Beltrade and their MSME Roadshow.
Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
They're not just cigarette, vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, or heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarterfinal winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Maria's was planned to open in 2020, and that's when COVID came. I thought the dream was dead. People would come to my house, they would purchase the coffees from there. That gave me the little confidence, like, okay, I could do this. Atlantic Bank, of course, helped me take the next step. Once I had their support, it was smooth sailing from there. This business is my life. It's literally what provides my family with food and employment. I employ 3 family members, so it's really everything for us.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Protect your motor, secure your property. Oh yeah, Home Protector Insurance got you covered, you see. Covered, you see. From motor to property, and even marine. We'll keep you safe no matter where you've been. No matter where you've been, no matter where you've been. Get the peace of mind that only we can bring. Oh yeah. With our insurance, you will never fret or sing. Never fret or sing. We offer bonds and so much more. So much more. Home Protector Insurance, we got what you're looking for. What you're looking for. Secure your...
The next station is not just a place. It's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
Welcome back. We are switching gears back into the business conversation, if you will, with our friends from Beltrade, and they're here to discuss their annual MSME Road Show. And in to talk to us about it is Deputy Executive Director of Beltrade, Monique Usher. Good morning.
Good morning.
And the Manager of Marketing and Communications Unit, Miss Nikki Augustine.
Good morning.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so it's National MSME Road Show season.
Yes.
And that's how I tend to think of it, right? Because it's not like a month, it's in several months that you guys are touring the country and having business talks with potential entrepreneurs and MSME clients of Beltrade. What is the purpose of the roadshow?
So this is the third, I always say year, but it's every 2 years that we have the roadshow. But this is the third one that we're having. And the purpose is almost threefold because it's separated in 3 days. So on the first day, we do business development trainings for MSMEs. And this year, interestingly, we're also looking at AI technology and how you integrate that into your business, along with new topics like e-commerce and also introduction to export. So the first day of the roadshow is more geared towards these business development trainings, how you get your business ready and scale up, especially in this age of AI, because as we always say, if you don't keep up with AI, AI will pass you. And the second goal of the roadshow is to formalize your business. We're seeing now, we also had the MSME Tax Amnesty Roadshow, so it's all these things, getting your business formalized. If you don't have your business name registered as yet, we're also doing that on the roadshow. We have Social Security Board, we have BCAR, I know they were on earlier, that are a part of it. And the third goal of the MSME Roadshow is to help boost your business through the Buy Belizean Expo. And on that day is an expo. You come out and you sell your products and services.
Nice. I think that in Belize, I always applaud entrepreneurs because starting a business is definitely not an easy task. What are some of the content information that they can explain? I know you went through the overview, but for somebody that's just starting a business, how do I go about registering? How do I, scope my community to ensure that I'm getting the correct clientele, that sort of content?
Sure. So when it comes to the MSME Roadshow, it's coupled with the business advisor services that Beltrade offers through the Small Business Development Center, SBDC Belize. And then we also have the Export Belize team, which Nikki touched on, Introduction to Export, which is a new topic that we're bringing to the roadshow. Participants can expect to become clients of Beltrade and receive service post the MSME Roadshow. You mentioned about formalization. As Nikki hinted, we also have other business support organizations that will be joining us for the MSME Roadshow. So ordinarily where you would have to visit several business support organizations, we're bringing all these agencies in one location to support you for the MSME Roadshow.
And it's not like one day, it's definitely 3 days or so.
It's over the course of 3 days.
Yes.
3 days at a time?
Yes, 3 days at a time. Except for Belicity, we're skipping 1 day, which is the Friday, because we're teaming up with Belicity for Super Sale Saturdays. Similar in Belmopan, we team up with them for the night market. So we're working with the different councils across the country also. So that's one of the things that I think is most important that people understand. It's not just Beltrade, but it's a whole group, as Monique mentioned, of all these other BSOs, banks also that will be there. So if you need to do like e-wallets and so forth, those services are also available for you on the roadshow.
So this is your third outing.
Yes.
How effective were the previous 2 in terms of perhaps lessons learned and what you can do to improve this go-round?
I think we have had over 1,500 businesses that have been a part of the roadshow. And I think most of those are new businesses, by the way. So if you're looking at that, it's saying that these businesses are now, educated, because for most of these businesses, as April mentioned earlier, some don't know where to start. The roadshow gives you that opportunity to find a place to start, a place to grow your business, a place to understand what the business landscape is about. In terms of lessons learned, I think every year there's something that if we're not learning anything, then it doesn't make sense for us to keep hosting it. But one of the things is learning what the small businesses want to learn. What's of interest to them? What trainings do you need? Because they're the ones who are having these day-to-day kind of activities. And so I think that's one of the things that we're learning from the roadshow as we go along. And of course, we're looking at the other agencies that are supporting us. If the banks are going out, are you getting people to sign up for these MSME loans that they have? Because some of them are developing loans specifically for MSMEs. And so I think also in the course of the expos that we're having, how effective it is for the community to come out and support. Why aren't they supporting? So these are things that we're learning as we go.
What sort of, based on your experiences with the roadshow and so on, what sort of industries are these MSMEs more interested in? I know you have like tourism and agriculture, but like where are we seeing our
So we have tourism, agriculture, as you hinted. We have agro-processing, persons that are in food and beverage, also creative industry, artisans. We do have persons that are jewelry makers, persons that are candle makers that are a part of the roadshow. So we do have a interesting scope of client that participate for the MSME Roadshow. I know Nikki mentioned that it's 3 days. I think it's important for us to unpack these 3 days because this is essentially an investment that you as the MSME will make. And of course, we're creating that enabling environment to support your business. So perhaps we can start off with what the day one looks like, and then we...
Yes. So day one, as I mentioned, their trainings. It differs for San Ignacio, and I do want to invite anyone if they're in the San Ignacio area. We have 4 days actually, because the official opening ceremony for each roadshow now we start with an official open ceremony. And that's usually led by the Prime Minister. So he will be in San Ignacio on the 24th for the opening ceremony. And then San Ignacio is the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So the opening ceremony has, of course, also a panel discussion that looks again at AI for this one. And then on the first day itself is the training. So introduction to export, we have AI in marketing trainings that will also be happening, the art of sales and negotiation, and a couple other trainings that will be happening on that day. In the evening, and I know you mentioned earlier in terms of businesses looking for these different type of opportunities for them, we do have what we call a town hall session. And during that session, we will have the trade license team that will be there with us. We have our team from the Belize Invest unit that will be talking about fiscal incentives for business. We'll also be talking about the new MSME policy that is coming up. Then day two, we look at the formalization clinic, and this is where we bring all the other support agencies, as Monique mentioned, all in one place. So you don't have to come to Belmopan, come to Belize City to register your business, register for tax, register for GST. Everything is going to be happening in that space. There's also some panel discussions that we have there. And then on the day three is where we're going to have the expo.
How do you sell the idea to some of these medium and small businesses that artificial intelligence is here, and that if they don't get up on board with it soon enough, they may very well be left behind in terms of the direction that technology is guiding business?
That's a good question, because do we really need to sell it? I'm saying it in that way, meaning if you are interested in your business, if you are looking out in the public to see what is happening, AI is in our face every single day. So business smart wise, the first thing you need to think is, all right, because a couple years ago we had this thing that AI will not take your business, right? Or take your job. Someone who is using AI will take your job. Now, 2 years later, AI is taking your job. So I think it's extremely important for you as a business, even as a worker, to now understand AI, understand how to use AI to develop your business so that you're always one step ahead of the game. Because AI cannot function without humans. It cannot function without your business. But so the only thing that you can do now is learn AI and try to be better than AI as best as you can.
I think that's why I asked my previous question about the job market and the industries that these MSMEs are contributing to, because Belize isn't a manufacturing country. We have to import products in order to boost our businesses. And so how sustainable are some of these businesses in the growing economy of Belize?
Sure. The Small Business Development Center, SBDC, has been in existence since 2012, and we have data that demonstrates that MSMEs are the backbone of our economy and they're thriving, right? So the idea behind our Support April is not just looking at the roadshow, but beyond the roadshow, providing that support. To express what you shared, we do have an MSME enhancement program, which is going to be presented at the MSME Roadshow as a town hall session, and we're looking at sharing with the general public the incentives that are available to support their business. Something important for us to also mention, the town hall session is a session that allows us as business support organization to hear from the business community what are some of the reforms that they would like in terms of the enabling environment and policies. So this is also a space for us at Beltrade to look at the feedback provided provided by micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and lobby for the government to make intervention. So, for example, the MSME tax amnesty, that was something that was shared at one of the MSME roadshow, that they wanted to have, there's this fear of formalizing because of the tax. And so we're here telling the MSMEs that we're providing you the enabling environment and the support needed to thrive in business.
So we said that it's a 3 to 4 day event, one in every district.
Yes.
When are we starting and where are we going? What's the schedule like? When can the viewers expect you all? Take it away.
So we're starting at the end of this month.
Yes.
Again, from June 24th all the way to the 28th?
29th of
29th of August, sorry.
Yes.
All the way till the end of August. And the end of August, that's the one that we're teaming up with the Belmopan City Council for the night market.
Okay.
Our first stop is in San Ignacio. From there we go to Benque. And
then we go to Corozal the week of July 16th to 18th. Then we go to Punta Gorda Town on July 30th to 31st. We visit Dangriga the 6th to 8th of August. We visit Belize City 12th to 15th. Then we travel to Kikaker and San Pedro. Which important to note is that the Kikaker and San Pedro Roadshow will be happening simultaneously.
Okay.
So we have that the 20th to the 22nd. And then as Ms. Nikki mentioned, we end off in Belmopan 27th to 29th. So we're truly having a footprint across the country to ensure that we have participation from the MSMEs. And of course, we're inviting MSMEs that are within the rural community to also participate. This MSME Roadshow also allows us to visit our clients because we want them to become clients of Beltrade post the MSME Roadshow in our national client outreach. So we still do that visit to our clients to ensure that we understand the dynamics of their business and we're providing that support.
Forgive my bias, right? I'm looking forward to the Belize City one simply because of the partnership with the City Council for the Super Sale. And I know that the Super Sale has become such a fixture in Belize City. Whenever City Hall decides we have set our date, the business community comes together and people come out as well.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Belmopan one.
Night market.
The night market. No, but honestly, and I gotta give kudos to Nikki because it was her brainchild, right? And it has just exploded into this monthly event. I don't even know, like my brother who doesn't go anywhere, he knows when the market is going to be at because it's something that's discussed in the high schools and all that. These kids are looking forward to something to do at the end of the month, and we went from what, like 50 vendors to like 200 and something vendors.
We actually started with 42 vendors. So this is the 5th anniversary of the night market. So there was a ceremony at the last night market. So we started with 42 and there are over 100 and odd. We haven't reached the 200 markers yet.
Then
but
they take over the ring road.
it definitely supports more than 200 families in Belmont. Not only in Belmont, because a lot of them come from Corozal, Orange Rock, everywhere to be a part of the night market.
Yeah, so it's definitely a growing event. I mean, you have the Super Sale in Belize City, you have the night market in Belmopan, so we're seeing these town councils engaging more with the MSMEs across the country, so that's a very, very good thing.
And we did try to have the last roadshow team up with the City Council for Super Sale, but if you guys remember, 2 years ago a storm came. Yeah, so this year we're going to have a very good year. No storms, there's no El Nino. So we're looking forward to giving them that.
Well, ladies, this has been a wonderful conversation. Best of luck, because I know what it's like touring this country for their things, and
exciting.
It's wonderful. It's exciting. Kudos, logistics, and moving parts. I give you all a lot of grace for the amount of work that you're doing.
I just want to mention before we go up that you could go to Beltrade or Facebook and social media pages to find information on the roadshow. But our website is beltrade.bz, and you'll find all the information there on the stops and how to register and sign up for the roadshow. From the roadshow, we go into Entracon in November. So that's the entrepreneurship convention. And again, we have the Blaze Awards Gala. So we give awards. This is our 3rd year also for doing the awards for MSMEs. So that's in November of this year, the
6th and 7th.
6th and 7th of November.
Now, a lot of things happening over at Bill Trade, and I know once this round done, you guys will be back again to tell us more about it. So looking forward to that, guys. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right, and we want to say a big thank you to all of our guests that came in and had the conversation with us, and a big thank you to you, our viewers, for joining us in our comments and keeping updated with all things OIE. It is July 15th.
Yes, it is.
It is. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us live on Facebook at Open Your Eyes PC, and our Instagram updates at OIE Belize. Our TikTok updates, we're coming back with a TikTok soon. That's openyoureyes.pz. And you can send us a text message or call us at 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Till then, keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
Good morning, Belize. Have a wonderful Monday. Bye.
Brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.